How's it going, everyone? So I'm very excited about this video. I had a lot of fun filming it, but 2 days after I found that Imperial shuttle, I went to a different Walmart and they had the LAAT in stock. So not only is this hitting Walmart stores, but it is also hitting Target stores as well. So if you don't have it yet or you missed out on the pre-order, get out there and start hunting. This is a beast of a figure, as it should be. The LAAT or the LAAT is not only hitting Walmart stores, but Targets as well. So I ended up finding this a few days after the Imperial shuttle, but I was on a vacation, so I couldn't unbox it or anything like that, so I had to wait. But now, as I'm filming this, it is July 24th, and people are now finding it at Target stores. So Targets are now doing their summer resets, or at least they're prepping for it. So we're seeing a lot of new product hitting the shelves. The price on this is $59.99, but it is loaded with a bunch of features. It has lights and sounds, the second vehicle in Micro Galaxy Squadron to have that. It has 18 plus features with a Hoth bike included, and it comes with 5 figures. But there's something a little odd about these 5 figures. If you look closely, I have 2 General Veers and 2 LAAT pilots instead of 2 snowtroopers. I've seen this happen with other sets throughout this line, but this is the first time it's ever happened to me. And I'm more of a glass half full type of person, so I would have liked to have had at least 1 snowtrooper, but I do think 2 LAAT pilots is a small win. And one final thing, it says Series 2, but I think it's supposed to fall into the Series 3 class. And when I say this thing is a beast, it truly is. It barely fits on my turntable. Now, the back of the packaging has a lot to show us. So the neck and head can move from side to side, up and down. We have lights and sounds at the front. We have interior lights, which is awesome. The side panel does come off. We have a descending grapple for one of our speeder bikes. We have cargo for the speeder bikes. We have the line where Luke hangs off of. And it can dance. Here is the barcode and the Target DPCI to help you track this down in store. 2 come in a case. The Target pre-orders have sold out, but again, don't worry, they are hitting stores now. Here we have it out of the packaging and everything it comes with. Don't you fall over, Veers. Clone Veers. But dang, I am loving what I see already. Lots of articulation, lots of things to go over. I placed the grapple hook at the bottom, but I'll show you how to put everything on and everything together. It does take 3 AAA batteries, which are not included, but we will put them in so you can see the lights and the sounds. This is one of those vehicles that I feel like I would need a fleet of. I mean, if my wallet lets me, because they just display so well, and it's such an iconic vehicle from Star Wars history. But in fact, there's an Endor version coming. It's an Amazon exclusive. It drops at the end of this month, so I recommend you connecting with me on Instagram because I will be posting once it goes live, and I can pretty much guarantee that thing will sell out. The inside does come with some instructions, which is basically a breakdown of everything that this walker can do. It shows the 3 AAA batteries that go at the bottom. On the backhand side, it shows us all the features and what it is capable of. But we're going to figure this out together. Let's start with the figures. So again, normally it's supposed to come with 1 Veers, 2 snowtroopers, and 1 pilot. But I got a special one, so 2 Veers, 2 pilots, and 1 Luke Skywalker. This is our second version of Hoth Luke Skywalker. This one obviously comes with his lightsaber. The paint applications throughout look really good, as always. Again, they've stepped up their game so much since Series 1. Even those little Imperial logos on the helmet look crystal clear. And the ranking on General Veers is also well done, without any bleed. Let's throw in our Luke Skywalker that comes in the Snowspeeder, and right off the bat, you can see that there's a little bit more detail on our LAAT Luke, especially with the paint applications, which I like that because it shows that they're progressing through the line and getting better and better. But what really stands out is those extra paint applications on the side of the helmet, which is even more screen accurate. Those details continue to the back of the figures also, and of course they have their basic articulation at the arms and legs. As for the speeder, it is the exact same sculpting that we received in our blind box Scout Trooper. It's just painted white. Let's measure this beastie and see what we got. I straighten the legs as neutral as I can get it, so at its tallest position, it's looking like 9.5 inches. The length from the tip of the turret to the back, it is, oh, wow, just under a foot. I would say, wow, 11.5 inches. For width, I'm going to measure at the feet rather than the body because this is truthfully the widest part. So from peg to peg, it looks like about 5 inches. So this one might be a little tricky. It is the cable that lowers a speeder down. So I would say roughly 7.5 inches. And for Luke's grapple, if I was able to straighten it all the way, I would say probably just at 6 inches. Because I know how much y'all like the measurements, let's see what the feet come out to be. Looks like 2.5 inches. When it comes to comparing the speeder to the AT-AT, I would say it's pretty spot on. I mean, it might need to be just a tad bit bigger, but overall, I mean, this is matching up really well. The reason why I say it's pretty spot on is because of the footprint it makes on the snowspeeder. Rewatching The Empire Strikes Back, it pretty much takes up most of the surface area of the speeder when it stomps on it. And rest in peace, Dak, you are not forgotten. If you saw my snow speeder video, then you know that the tow cable is not quite long enough to wrap around the entire AT-AT. The battery compartment is on the bottom, so let's put some in and see how this sounds. Alright, so I think there is a startup sound when I push this button there. I haven't done it yet because I want us to do it together, so let's see how it sounds. Look at that, even the red light goes. We're going to just go for this. We're going to do all the sounds first. Now, when this button or any of the buttons aren't pushed for about 30 seconds, it'll go into sleep mode. So this is button 1, and then we have another one on top, and that's button 2. Okay, we're going to push that again, see if it does something else. We're almost at 30 seconds and it will go into sleep mode. And there it has that power down sound effect. We'll turn it on again. Oh man, that sounds so good. And the speaker is actually pretty loud. And if you push it again, it'll make the walking noises. Now let's see what this button up here does. I believe it's going to be like the turrets and then maybe some more like action sounds. Oh, there we go.
Target, maximum firepower.
Oh, okay, we have Veers on there.
All troops will debark for ground assault. Prepare to target the main generator. Target, maximum firepower.
Okay, so it seems like he has 3 different sayings. Oh.
Prepare to target the main generator. All troops will debark for ground assault. Prepare to target the main generator. Target, maximum firepower. All troops. Prepare to target the main generator. Target, maximum firepower. All troops.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so it cycles through his sayings and then some of the firepower also. These lights here at the front aren't the only ones that we have. We also have some on the inside. So we're going to open up this hatch and we have so much cargo space. So we have plenty of room. This is our drop cable for our speeder. We have placement for 4 more, some more open area for troopers, and we have some more designated seating. We have 10 spaces for troopers to sit. But without further ado, let's light it up. Oh, that looks good. What I love is that they were able to sculpt these like it's components and like screens that's like monitoring the battlefield. You can like stand a bunch of figures on there that act like they're working. And then we have another light shining through these vents up there. You know what? Let's see what this looks like in the dark. Oh, you can see that front head looks nice and menacing. And this cargo area looks amazing too. I mean, it's very well lit. This is pretty sweet. I mean, they didn't have to go this hard on it, but I'm glad that they did because they're really maximizing as much space as possible within this entire body. While we're here, let's take a look at everything that this interior space has to offer. Like I showed you earlier, this is the cable that will let down your speeder. So it's on a little gear. All you have to do is just rotate it backwards and it will slowly bring up that little cable. And then once it's in, there is like a little notch right here, which that hook part will rest on the inside to keep it from falling out. And then you can just like tighten up the drag. So this entire piece is on a swivel. It'll fold into the body about that far, so it won't knock over any figures that are standing there. And when it swings open, it stops at the front of the body. And when the boys are done with it, you could tow it back up into the body. This area at the back, which will hold the extra speeders, has some pipes throughout, some cool sculpting, and then even the floorboard has some slotting to it. Since I don't have 4 Hoth speeders, we're going to just use 4 regular ones. Now, these little pegs will hold the speeders in place, but I found that this one back here is the hardest one to get a speeder on because of this like little lip that comes out holding the top 2. So what I do is I line it up, lift up this piece a tad, and then after a little bit of effort, it fits on there no problem. And then I'll just do the exact same thing to the remaining 3. And there you have it. I think this looks so good. Now I have some place to actually store my speeders instead of just having them like loose on my shelving over there. And honestly, that might not be too bad. Opening it up, displaying it just like this. You could have the speeder bikes loaded up and a bunch of random figures throughout. And I like that they put space for 10 troopers up there. I mean, that's awesome. They could have very well just closed it up with some plastic, but no, they left it open, allowing us to stack this baby. And with all this space, it's going to take a lot of time and money to fill all this space accordingly with the correct troopers. So I know they want to keep this line vehicle based, but somewhere down the line, it would be cool to get like a battle pack or something where we can get some bulk troopers. For example, here is a quick mock-up. If you squint hard enough, you can pretend that those clones are actually snow troopers. I have our first General Veers up there prepping the troopers, getting them ready for battle. Just below that, I have a few scout troopers having a conversation next to the speeder bikes. And then at the command center, we have 2 pilots, 2 scout troopers, and our second clone, General Veers. But all in all, this is a total of 18 figures you can fit comfortably in the body of this AT-AT, with plenty of more room to spare. Wow, that was a lot to talk about. So let's move our attention to the cockpit now. To open, there is a hinge joint, and you just pull straight on up. They sculpted the inside of the under hatch, which they do that a lot with these vehicles, and I'm very happy that they do because it just adds so much more authenticity to these vehicles, and it just doesn't make them look plain. There's also some great sculpting on the inside. You can see like the buttons and stuff that they would be pushing. This is obviously where Veers stands. You can see there is 2 seats for drivers. Getting that error with those 2 extra drivers worked out perfectly in our favor. I'd like to give you a nice close-up of what it looks like on the inside and all that sculpting throughout. I mean, just such small details that they include all throughout this cockpit. And you can see this is the doorway, which would lead to the neck of the AT-AT. And this is just done really well. Here's what it looks like with our figures on the inside. I mean, having those 2 pilots, I mean, that worked out perfectly. And you can see General Veers there standing, giving some orders. And this is just so cool to me. We have 1 figure and accessory left, and that is Luke Skywalker with the grapple hook. This grapple can be applied to the bottom of the AT-AT. So these little areas, we actually have 3 of them. They look like keyholes. You would use this end of the grapple that kind of looks like an L. You place it on the inside and then twist it. Once you do that, it'll lock into place. And then you can suspend Luke. I mean, this grapple is quite long, but it does fit around Luke no problem. I think a quick fix, what we could do, is probably like wrap it around one of those leg pieces to make it shorter. That actually worked out perfectly. So I wrapped it around that area there, and that shortened it, making it more screen accurate. At the end of the day, I would rather have more slack than not enough, because now you can customize it however you want. I did things a little bit differently in this video. I saved the articulation basically for last. Just because there's so much going on with the lights and sounds and then all the space, I decided to mix it up a little bit. Let's start with the head. So, like you saw on the back of the packaging, we can move it up, down, left, and right. But what's really cool is this neck piece, there's this rubber piece that's coating the entire joint. And that's awesome because this looks like something that would be used in the film. This is great because the head can go down about that far, which looks awesome. We can bring it up about that high. And then from there, I mean, we can just basically turn the head any direction that we want, left or right. This articulation here is like an A++. I love this. I mean, you can add so much character to this AT-AT. When it comes to the legs, we have 3 joints per leg, which is awesome. And that's what's really going to give it that character like it's walking. To start, we have these joints here at the base of the body. And you can take them and you can bring them out. You can have the AT-AT laying flat. Oh, turned it on. I didn't like that. So that's about as high as they can go from here. You can also take this joint and bring it up that way, and oh my gosh, you could just do so much. Even the feet right here. So these feet will articulate as well. You can have just the AT-AT just sunbathing in the snow, or maybe on Tatooine, who knows. Then if you wanted to, you can take this next joint here, and you can, like, you know, have it in a very awkward, like, crab-looking position. So this is crazy. I mean, these are all joints here, here, and here, and you can get a lot of posability out of this. I mean, just from those segments alone. I mean, you can have it, you know, standing up like it's begging for treats. I don't know. Is this a pet? I mean, it feels like it's a pet now. I mean, look at this. You can have it standing straight up. That is freaking crazy. I mean, this looks like the Brachiosaurus from Jurassic Park that's eating the leaves off the tree. And look at this. You can make it look like it's running. I mean, it's not going to hold up, but I mean, you can get it like it's like if AT-ATs could run. I mean, could you imagine how terrifying that would be? But in all seriousness, so this joint can move upwards and downwards. We also have like a knee joint, which can go forwards. Looks like about 90 degrees, maybe just under 90 degrees, forwards and backwards. And then from there, we have like this ankle joint, which doesn't have quite as much range of motion as the knee, but still just enough. I mean, you saw we can stomp on a snowspeeder no problem. But I do gotta say, each time you move these joints, there is a click, and I like that because it's almost like a gear to gear that's going through. And when that happens, it prevents it from sliding into the next slot. So if it was just two pieces of plastic, it's like a bearing, that's gonna give out pretty fast. Whereas this, having those little clicks in between, is gonna maintain its integrity over time. Hey, let's give a hand to Luke, no pun intended, who stayed in that clip the entire time I was contorting this walker. My final thoughts on this AT-AT, my mind is blown. For $59.99, that's probably the max I would want to pay for something like this, but they pack it full of features and accessories. I guess I'll go down the list with what I like the most about it. I mean, having lights and sounds, this is our second vehicle to have that. I think that's a great addition to this. The speaker sounds nice and clear also. If I had to change one thing about the sounds, it would be for the turrets to have their own designated button, so I can push it as much as I want, like Kylo Ren from The Last Jedi. I absolutely love that they gutted the inside of it, because we have space for a lot of figures and those speeder bikes. The only problem is most of us collectors don't have that many figures to fill it. So hopefully we see an opportunity to get a bulk amount of figures. Another piece I like about this is the crane that lowers down that speeder bike. It was a nice surprise to have. And going into the vehicle, I like that Luke's grapple can be hooked to 3 different areas at the bottom. The articulation to this is insane. I mean, you can do so many different weird poses, and then obviously you can perform your normal traditional ones, but having 3 joints per leg really sets this apart. I also really enjoy that they put a rubberized, like, accordion looking neck around that joint there, because that's what we see in the film, and it makes it look authentic. And not to mention that head has so much articulation, that's like the chef's kiss to this vehicle. As far as changing anything, there's not much I would like to add to this except for, obviously having some more figures. I mean, we have so much space to occupy. It would have been awesome to automatically have 2 AT-AT pilots, Luke, Veers, and a few snowtroopers. Having those at this price would have made this the perfect set, hands down in my opinion. And I did get lucky with this mistake having 2 pilots and 2 Veers. But the odds of finding another set like that is going to be very slim. But when you do find your AT-AT, check those figures. You might get lucky. But that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video because I enjoyed filming it. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram to stay up to date when new things drop, like that Endor set that's going live at the end of this month. It's on Amazon, on exclusive only, and pre-orders are most likely going to sell out. As always, if you like this video and you want to see more of it, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and it's free. Until then, we will see y'all in the next video.